Okay, so let's start, students. Ready for that? Excited?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So a very good evening to all of you. So how you all are doing?
Good.
Nice, ma'am.
Fine,
Nice,
ma'am.
ma'am. How are
Oh,
you?
that's great. That's great.
Ma'am.
That's great.
How are
Okay.
you?
I'm also doing good. Thanks for asking. Okay. So excited for the today's session?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So let's start.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So first, before diving into the topic, I'm going to ask one question to all of you. Okay. So just tell me that if somebody comes to you and will ask that where can I meet that person and where is the house of that particular person, so how you're going to instruct him? Suppose anything, if anybody is asking about your house only, so how you are going to instruct them?
By telling the directions.
By telling the directions. Okay, like how? Like how?
Direction. By telling where
Right.
the village is.
Okay, so you will tell them a particular village name, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay. Anything
Landmark.
else?
Ma'am, our
Tanvi,
address.
what were you saying?
Ma'am, any landmark.
By the landmarks. Okay, yes, that's also we can do.
Ma'am, by address.
By address. Okay. Anybody else?
Ma'am, by telling nearby houses or nearby shops to them.
Okay, okay. That is only landmark only, na? That what we call
By telling
landmark.
the
Okay.
Ma'am, we can tell the nearest landmark.
Okay, nearest landmark. Okay, so what I can conclude that we can
Ma'am, we
tell them
can
a nearest
tell the
landmark.
name of our house.
Yes, we can tell them a name of the village, name of the street, name of the road, and we can tell them
Name
about
of the
the
house.
direction. Yes. So that also you told me that we can tell them the direction, that you need to go in this direction, and from that point you need to take a right, to you need to take a left, correct? Like that you are going to instruct them if they wants to reach your house, correct? Yes, this is the thing that you are going to do with them. Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this is the thing that what we are going to learn in our today's session. So we will learn one of the topic of the reasoning, which is known as direction sense. Okay. So we will learn about direction sense today. So ready for that?
Right.
So for that, I am going to share my screen. Then I will share one PPT with you, and we will go with that PPT, and we will have a discussion on that. So ready for that, everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So as you already know that our today's topic is gonna be direction sense. Okay. So first thing is that what is direction? We are learning about direction sense. That is okay. But we need to also learn that what is direction. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So what is direction then? Okay. So what we can say, direction is defined as a path that something takes. Okay, if somebody is going in this direction or somebody is going in that way, so the way they are taking, the path they are taking, the specific place they are going on or what we can say, in which something is starting to develop, or the way you are facing. Let's suppose you are going in this direction, so you are facing over here. Okay, if you are going over there in this direction, so you are facing over here, correct? If you are going over there in this direction, so you are facing over here, correct? So in which direction you are facing, in which direction you are going, in which direction you are instructing something, so that is there in the direction. Okay, so that all things we can conclude that all things are going to come in a form of direction. Okay, now the next, what we can say, if we need to give an example of direction, so that has to be an example of direction is when you go right instead of left. If I'm going to tell you, if you want to reach me, you need to take a right from this, and instead of taking right, you have taken left. Okay, so this is also what we can say, that is also we can conclude as a example of direction. Understood now that what is direction and what direction has to be? Anybody is having any doubt over here?
No.
No,
No?
ma'am.
Okay.
No.
Now after that, so this is the thing that what we have learned about direction, like this specific thing is direction. Yes? Anybody is saying something? Okay. Now, this is what we call direction. Now, what are the directions? Okay, so we have majorly 4 directions. Okay, how many directions we have? We have majorly 4 directions, and these directions are like north, south, east, and west. Okay, that we all know. North, south, east, and west. We have 4 main directions, which are north, south, east, and west. And if we need to learn them, so we can learn them with the short form, which is news. Yes. So can anybody tell me that what is that news word? If we are going to elaborate it, so what we are getting?
Ma'am,
North, east, west, south.
north, east, west, south.
Yes. Okay. So north, east, west, south are the 4 main direction what we have. And if we have to learn them in a very short and the cute way, so we can learn them as a news. Okay. So news is nothing. News is just a short form or the 4 main directions, which are north, south, east, and west. Okay. Now the thing is, whenever we are doing questions related to directions, so every time we need to form a map. So we will form a map like this. So at the upper parts, we will write north, and opposite to north, every time it has to be south. Okay. Just remember this thing. Okay. So at the upper part, we need to write north, and opposite to north, that has to be south. Okay. And in the right direction, it has to be east, and opposite to east, it has to be west. Understood? So this is the common point. From the upper side of this common point, this has to be north. Opposite to north, that has to be south. And right to some specific point, that has to be east. And opposite to east, that has to be west. Understood, everybody? Till here, anybody is having any confusion?
No.
No, ma'am.
Now you know the position of news. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, one more interesting thing about it, when we are going to connect them with some line segment, so what we can say, that we can see the angle between 2 direction has to be 90 degrees. Correct? Angle formed between 2 main direction is what? That has to be 90 degree. Okay, so that's shoot. Okay, has to be the L shape. Understood till here?
Understood, ma'am.
Please keep your self on mute. Okay, so now this is about main direction. So what we have learned about main direction, so we are having 4 main direction, which is news, and news stands for north, east, west, and south. Got it? Yes. After that, we have 4 sub directions. Okay, that are also known as cardinal directions. Okay. Now, what are those cardinal directions? So as we already know, the upper one is north. Opposite to that has to be south. Right on it has to be east, and opposite to that is west only. Okay. Now, so between north and east, northeast should be there. Okay. And between south and east, southeast should be there. Between south and west, the direction would be what? Yes.
Southwest.
Southwest. Yes.
Southwest.
And between north and west, the direction should
Northwest.
be north.
West.
Okay. So these directions are known as what? These directions are known as cardinal directions. Understood? Okay. So how many
Yes.
cardinal directions we have?
4.
4. And these 4 are northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. Okay. Now, as we already know, the angle between 2 main direction is 90 degree. But what about the cardinal angles?
45 degree.
Yes.
47.
If we have to measure the angle between two cardinal directions, so that has to be 45 degree, which is just half of 90 degree. Understood? Yes, clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
we are moving towards the graph of the cardinal directions. So these are the main direction: north, south, east, west, and in between them we have 4 cardinal directions as well. Okay, so now we know about the main direction and about the cardinal directions. Okay, now after that, as we can see, so this is just like a circle. Yes, if we are going to meet them all together, so what we can form one circle out of it. Correct. Now if we can form a circle out of it, so what we can see, okay, so from this, can we say that we can relate this thing to the clock? Can we say this? That we can relate this thing to the clock, because this seems to be a hour hand and a minute hand of a clock, correct? Okay, so now just tell me that how the hands of a clocks are moving, in which direction, or how the hands of the clocks are moving.
Clockwise.
They are moving in a clockwise direction, correct? Yes.
Clockwise.
Yes. So clockwise direction means what? When we are moving when we are moving or when we are taking the right turn. Okay, so that has to be a clockwise rotation. So when somebody moves in the direction which is same as the moving direction of the clock hand, that is known as a clockwise direction. So whenever the question is asking that somebody is moving in a clockwise direction, so that means we have to move like the clock is moving, like that. Understood? So we have to start wherever we are facing, we need to move in our right. Understood? What is the meaning of clockwise direction? Yes?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And the direction
Now,
is
yes, now just tell me, if somebody is moving opposite to that direction, so that direction is known as what?
Anti-clockwise.
That direction is known as anti-clockwise direction, correct? So when somebody is moving in the opposite direction of like clock is moving, so that is known as anti-clockwise direction, which is in a left direction. Understood about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. So now we have some questions that we are going to move on. So like this, the first question is like, this is just an example only. So Tim is facing southwest. So for that, what we need to do? First, we need to draw a graph for that. This is north, this is south, this is east, this is west, and this has to be northeast. This has to be southeast. This has to be southwest, and this has to be northwest. Okay. So now somebody, Tim is facing southwest. So where Tim is facing? Tim is facing in this direction. Here. Correct? Now, he took a 45 turn. So first, let me draw a 4 quadrant like that. And he is facing in the southwest direction. And he took a 45-degree turn in anti-clockwise direction. So now just tell me that where he will reach if he is taking a 45 degree
South.
in an anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise, which means he needs to move like that. Anti-clockwise is opposite to the clock. No, it should not be west. Yes, it has to be south. Correct. Now from south, he takes a 180-degree turn. Now what is the meaning of 180-degree turn?
190 degree plus 190 degree.
Not 190, 190. It has to be 90 plus 90.
Yes, ma'am. 90, sorry.
Correct?
90
Yes.
plus 90.
And in the clockwise direction. So clockwise direction means?
North.
To move
How the
It
clock
has to
rotates?
move like that.
to take a right turn.
Correct? Yes.
North.
So he will reach over here. Where? He will reach to the north.
North.
Correct?
North.
Now, see the explanation of this. So these are the direction. 45-degree turn in the anti-clockwise direction from southwest means south only. And when we are taking 180-degree to in a clockwise direction, so he will reach in which direction? He will reach in north direction.
North.
Okay. So that's why the answer should be north only. Understood? Okay,
Understood.
next. A man is facing towards west and turns through 45-degree clockwise. Okay, this is north, south, east, west, and let's make quadrant as well. Now the question is saying man is facing towards west and turns 45-degree in a clockwise direction. 45-degree means that much only. Okay, so he will be in a northwest direction now. Correct.
Northwest.
And again taking 180-degree clockwise. Now what is the meaning of 180-degree clockwise?
Then southeast.
Very nice.
Southeast.
That
Ma'am,
has
he will
to be
reach southeast.
Yes, he will reach. Yes. Very good, very good.
Ma'am,
So
he
the
will reach
answer should be
southeast.
southeast. Yes. So finally on moving 180-degree clockwise, he faces in the direction which is southeast. Very good. Now next. Mayank walks 20 meters north, then he turns right and walks 30 meters. Okay, first form a graph. Okay, Mayank walks 20 meter north. So suppose Mayank is here and he is walking in this direction for the 20 meters. Then he turns right. Right means he has to move in a east direction, correct? And walks for 30 meters. So we will mark it as a 30 meters. And then he turns right again. Now, if he is taking right turn, so in which direction he is moving right now?
Southeast.
Yes, tell me.
South.
In a south direction, correct. And he moves for 20 meter again. Okay. Now, question is asking how far is he from his original position? Yes, how far he is from his original position?
30 meters. 30 meters.
30 meters.
Absolutely correct.
30 meters.
Yes, very good, very good. Okay, that has to be 30 meters. Okay, now one more question. Now Anil wants to go to the school. He starts from his house. So this is his house. Okay, and this is his school. So he starts from his house, which is in the east, and comes to the crossing. He starts from here and comes to this point. In which direction is the school now? From this position, in which direction is the school?
North.
Very good, very good.
North.
Yes, that is not only. Very good. Now next. Aman travels 35 kilometers towards west. So let's form it. Okay, so suppose this is the point of Aman and he is walking 35 kilometers towards west. So let's take this point and name it as a west or 35 kilometer. Then he takes a right turn. Now right turn means what? In which direction?
North.
West.
Very good. And he is moving for 50 kilometers. Next, she takes another right turn. Now what is the meaning of right turn? In which direction?
East.
Yes, in east. Okay, and she walks for 35 kilometers again. Now in how far is she from her original point? Yes.
50 kilometers.
50 kilometers.
Very good, because that is opposite to that. Very nice. That has to be 50 kilometers. Very good, all of you. Now next. Bhanu walks 35 kilometers in the west direction. Okay, let's again form it. Okay, so Bhanu walks 35 kilometers in the west direction. So from this point, let's take this has to be a 35. Okay, then she took a right turn. Now right turn means what?
Northwest.
North.
Northwest.
Okay,
Northwest.
and she walks for 50 kilometers and then again she took a right turn. Right turn means
East.
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 Okay, and walks for 35. He stops there only. Now towards which direction he is moving now? Yes, in which direction?
East.
Very good. Very good. Okay, now next question. Deepika is facing the mall. What will she be facing if she turns 270-degree clockwise? Now, what is the meaning of that 270-degree?
Reflection.
Hospital. 390 degrees.
Okay, so 90° means what? 90° means 1/4. Okay, so 270 means what? When we are going to multiply 90 by 3, we are getting 270, correct? So if we are taking 3 right angle together, so that means 270 degree, correct? So if Deepika is facing the mall over here, so what she will be facing if she's taking a 270-degree turn clockwise?
Food center. Food center.
That has to be 1 right angle, 2 right angle, and 3 right angle. Okay, so that has to be
Market.
Market.
That has to be market.
There is a market.
Understood? Okay, next. Now, which point is southwest of O? Where is O? O is here. So, which point is southwest of O? P. Very good, very good. Yeah, one more. Now, Latika is facing towards her home. So, home is here. Now, how many turns she must move in the clockwise direction to face the school? Yes, tell me.
2.
No.
5.
She has
5 by 8 direction. 5 by 8.
5 by 8. Okay, so
5
first
by
we will
8.
count how
Option
many
C.
total parts are there. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and she has to move in up to school. So how many turns she has to take? 1, 2,
5.
3, 4, 5. Very good, very nice. That has to be 5 by 8. Got it? Now anybody is having any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So this is up for this session. So anybody is having any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No? Atharv, Anas, Deansh, Hardik, no doubt?
No, ma'am.